If you've been looking for the perfect zombie posters to go on your walls, then look no further. You can make your Christmas 100 times better by picking up some of these amazing posters with code MRJD at checkout, link below. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't quite know how to put this, but what you're going to be learning in this video are things which should never have seen the light of day. But at the exact same time, it's one of the most fascinating things that as a fan of something which you know so well, you've played it for thousands of hours, and to take a look behind the curtain to see just how the developers created the best zombies game ever with the best zombies maps, and also seeing what didn't make it into the game that we now know and love so well. This sort of topic is honestly one of the most fascinating things to me, so I couldn't not talk about this. Sit back, relax, get comfy, and if you learned something new today in this video, then let me know by dropping a like. But this is stuff which we definitely shouldn't know about. We shouldn't be able to see this, but is now publicly available on the internet, all via a group called Prototype Preservation. They had a really interesting hobby, which I've never heard before, to scour far and wide to collect various alphas and betas of games, and to take a look under the hood at how different the game was in that state compared to its final build. And somehow they had a lot of Black Ops 3 zombies to show, and compiled just some of it into a 30-second trailer, which has now been taken down. But that hasn't stopped the internet from capturing it and posting it everywhere. So whilst I can't show you these, unfortunately, we can at least discuss from these images what Black Ops 3 zombies could have been like. Because some of this stuff is genuinely awesome. We don't really know why it didn't make the final game and if we'll ever see it again. But please don't use the comment section to roast Treyarch for any of the exciting things that didn't make it in the game. I'm sure there's a reason for everything, and I don't think Treyarch ever expected us to learn about this stuff either. But it's now out there in the public, so it's a pretty interesting scenario. Starting off with one of the big changes is the fact that Liquid Divinium and Dr. Monty's factory had completely different names and worked completely differently. So originally at some point, Liquid Divinium was actually going to be called Let It Ride tokens, which you earned by exploring zombies maps. There was no real description other than that, but we can assume it to be exactly the same as Liquid Divinium. By exploring the maps and opening doors, you earn Liquid Divinium, and purchasing various things off the walls, you'd earn Let It Ride tokens, which funnily enough looked like Super Mario coins. Not surprised at all why they changed that, but Dr. Monty's factory was actually called the Mega Chew Machine, and it looked so basic compared to what we have today. But even back then, we still had some of the most famous gobblegums that we still have today, such as Wall Power, Cashback, and Perkaholic. But with this, we also learned that there was some gobblegum which we've never actually seen the light of day, and some which were completely renamed into different things, such as Brainiac, which had the icon of just a brain. We also had Center of Attention, which I assume to be in plain sight, and then we also have Firestarter, which I'm pretty sure is burned out. And we also learn about two other gobblegums, one called Melee Master, which has an icon with a knife and an axe, as well as another one called Toxic Vindicator. I could assume the Melee Master just turned out to be Sword Flay, which just increased your melee damage for a limited amount of time, but Toxic Vindicator has like a sort of toxic waste symbol on the gobblegum. I have no idea what that could do. Let me know what you think down below. The next two things I'm going to talk about are absolutely huge. Why they didn't make it into the game, I don't really know, but the big thing straight away is that Black Ops 3 Zombies was going to have multiple difficulty options. Sort of similar to what we had in Black Ops 2 Zombies with difficulty options, this looked very similar in the layout to how you'd pick your difficulty in campaign, with each difficulty having its own specific name rather than it just be easy, normal, and hard. We had Survivor, Hunter, and Exterminator. The easiest difficulty was called Survivor, the description for it saying welcome to the aftermath, time to get your hands dirty. And the hardest difficulty, Exterminator, having an amazing icon which looks very reminiscent of that classic high rank in Black Ops 2 Zombies with the skull and shotguns, but it was a skull with axes on either side of its head, and it says, take on the worst dragged from the depths of hell. Your chances don't look good. Now, my personal opinion, I don't feel like difficulties have ever really been a massive thing inside of Zombies. We had it in Black Ops 2 where we had easy and classic. Then it seems Treyarch completely scrapped difficulties until Black Ops 4, where you can choose between casual, normal, and hardcore difficulty in classic mode. Obviously, from Black Ops 4, we know what that affects in terms of gameplay, so it could be very similar in Black Ops 3. Isn't it interesting to think that Black Ops 3 Zombies and how we know it today could have been so much more difficult with a harder difficulty selection? No one really knows what the rewards would have been for playing on a higher difficulty, but I definitely think it would have been a very interesting concept. The second thing which you guys are going to go nuts for and probably wish that it came was that they originally planned to have full character customization in Zombies mode. I'm talking full on being able to change the color of the outfits and potentially even changing their outfits. If you guys want that in Zombies, drop a like on the video right now. The fact that Black Ops 4 Zombies doesn't really have a lot when it comes to customization is crazy to think that they already planned that stuff for Black Ops 3. By the looks of it, you could choose specific parts of the characters' bodies and change their color. And the graphic that you see to represent this is the boxer from Shadows of Evil, where he has his normal outfit and then you can change the color to a black vest. And what's crazy is that each outfit had its own XP leveling system, where I'm assuming the more you use that outfit and play Zombies, you'd unlock more outfit changes and colors. And this seemed to be planned for all the premise characters as well as the characters from Shadows of Evil. In real time, you could see the character's outfit change as you pick the various colors amongst other things. We got face paints in Black Ops 4 Zombies, but nothing else to change the color of the outfit or to change their outfits entirely. On one stage, you could press the start button and in your identity menu, there was a section for campaign outfits, multiplayer heroes, and zombie outfits, which is crazy. I can't really work out why they would have got rid of this system and it be less fleshed out in Black Ops 4 than it seemed to be in Black Ops 3. And I think this comes in the nature of why we shouldn't know stuff like this, because for all we know, Treyarch could really adapt this, and in the next Zombies game, we have full-on character customization. And since we've never actually seen it before in Zombies, perhaps there's just not a right way that they've managed to do this yet. But the craziness doesn't stop there, as originally inside of Zombies, you had a create a class system where you could have two normal weapons as your primary and secondary. Just like in multiplayer, you could select two weapons to have. You could also select a sight as well as one attachment for each of them. And the biggest thing is that you could choose what color you wanted the Pack-a-Punch camo to be on that specific weapon. So for the example, they have a KN-44 as the first weapon, being the KN-44, but what it used to be called, which was the ARC, with a green Pack-a-Punch camo, and then what seems to be a shotgun, which we've never seen before, as a secondary, called the FAS X12, which had a blue Pack-a-Punch camo. To me, the idea of choosing what color camo you want when you Pack-a-Punch is very cool. An idea that I never thought I wanted before, but I guess in that sense, if you do that, it takes away some of the uniqueness of some of the unique camos you can only get on certain maps by Pack-a-Punching, like the Origins camo being that beautiful crystal blue, or Shadows of Evil with that lovely red Afterlife camo. It's an idea which I think would be both a good idea and probably something which would probably go amiss by a lot of people if they are specifically going for a map's unique camo. But if it was done in a way where you'd still have that camo, it would just be a different color, then man, that sounds really cool. But I guess in favor of this idea, they decided to do the weapon build kits instead of the creator class system. That way you can choose the specific camos that would go on the gun as standard, rather than what will be on it when Pack-a-Punch. Some of the shots within what was shown include some very early looks at Shadows of Evil, as well as the Giant, and it's very crazy that some of the stuff with Shadows of Evil is so early that there are no textures in the burlesque area whatsoever. The building doesn't even have a door, and very interestingly enough, you can see that they still had the Afterlife mechanic from Mob of the Dead on this map. So it's fair to say that not only is turning into a tentacle monster very similar to the Afterlife mechanic, but it looks like it was directly enhanced and changed from that Afterlife mechanic. And some of you guys that are die-hard Black Ops 2 Zombies fans who love the weapons on that game might be a little sad by what you're about to hear, but from one screenshot of a weapon build kit, there are a few weapons from Black Ops 2 which were supposed to be in Black Ops 3 Zombies but never made it. And I'm talking about the Type 25, the SWAT 556, the FAL OSW, and the M27. Now, I'm sure not a lot of you guys will be too upset that these weapons didn't return, but the fact that you have legendary weapons like the M27 and Type 25, which were ARs back in Black Ops 2, I mean, Town, hard to imagine Town without getting one of those out of the mystery box and Pack-a-Punching it in order to work your way up to getting a ray gun. Which is super super interesting that even some things like that we're in the game at such an early state, have never seen the light of day. Apart from that, there's just a few other things you can learn, such as seeing Nikolai as a playable character on Shadows of Evil. That's probably just down to the fact that it didn't have the celebrity characters scanned and motion capped into the game. But there's a few other weird things as well, like, I don't know how, but there's a screenshot of very early Revelations where the Apophthegm in the sky was actually just a glorified, massive Shadow Man head, whose head is joined with a massive space rock floating in the sky, and it's sort of clumped together. And the final thing is that there seems to have been some other ideas originally on how you build the Dragon Network controller to fly the dragons in Gorod Krovi. Instead of it being 3 Groff modules, which you get from those pods that drop down and after a certain amount of souls release the module, 3 parts needed look like a book, some sort of pieces of paper, and then a map, which is very strange and obscure. That about rounds up everything that was shown in their little teaser trailer. If we will ever see more from this, I highly doubt it. I don't know how Prototype Preservation even got a hold of this stuff, but it's definitely stuff that shouldn't be out there in the public, but now is. As you've probably noticed right at the end of this video, I've not included any images from this, but if you do want to find it, all it takes is one Google search, and I'm sure you'll find them very easily. But if you enjoyed this video, then give it a big fat thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe down below for more zombie content, and I'll catch you in the next one.